Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your Chief Security Fanatic here, and today I'm asking the question, why on earth would you train your murderer? Now, here's what's going on, and if you're a longtime listener or follower of mine, you probably know where this is going, but there was a really interesting write-up by Thomas Tremaine of the BBC, and quite frankly, I think this is something that needs to be discussed, because in numerous industries, artificial intelligence, the murderer, is being used to produce work that was once the exclusive domain of us. Now, AI is often less expensive than hiring a human being, and so early adopters were also quick to learn, though, that it can't always perform at the same level as a human, but nevertheless, here we are, and we're going to get to that gap. Now, people like writers and editors are finding themselves being asked essentially to pair up or team up with the artificial intelligence that is essentially stealing their jobs in order to give essentially their output a bit of humanity. Basically, this is a hidden army making artificial intelligence seem better than it actually is. So if you're reading that local news publication, they're using AI, there may be a copywriter behind it that's simply correcting it and moving on. Now, if AI gets more effective, and it will be effective, this balance between having a human correct it is going to be a temporary solution. And so by virtue of this, that's essentially where I think this is going. But if, on the other hand, it doesn't progress beyond its current level, which I can't imagine is going to happen, then obviously this trend would be a preview of what's coming for a ton of different professions, not just writers, copy editors, etc., etc. So, will artificial intelligence steal your job? It's really hard to say, but it depends on your job right now and at the moment and potentially in the near future. We are basically at a crossroads where some experts are warning that super intelligent AI will soon replace most human work, whether it's physical robotic work, writing online, which doesn't require a physical robot, etc., etc. Other experts believe technology may never approach that point. I happen to be in the former camp. We are heading towards improving AI continuously and therefore taking human jobs. Goldman Sachs, for the record, agrees with me, saying 300 million jobs affected, 30 million displaced right out of the gate, and we are seeing that come to fruition when they made that prediction like a year plus ago or so. So, there are also, for the record, some that argue we are heading towards a future where AI and human collaboration is essentially the name of the game rather than these two competing. That said, I see some of that, but at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot more displacement, I think, than there's going to be collaboration, especially on more, not menial jobs, but less complex jobs. So, on a much smaller scale, some workers are already seeing these unfortunate consequences. And so if there's one thing that large language models like ChatGPT basically can really do, is it puts words and paragraphs together, and essentially that basically puts writers and copy editors in the crosshairs. I've asked ChatGPT to say, hey, write me an acceptable use policy. It does a pretty good job. And if I have to just edit it and it takes me, 20 minutes to edit it as opposed to 2 hours to write an acceptable use policy, that's time well spent. But I'm also not publishing those things for like a news source, and therein lies one of the issues. So the fear of losing work to artificial intelligence writing tools is one of the main issues, if you remember, that led to the writers' strike in the United States last year. The Screen Actors Guild also is going to have an issue with this, especially on the deep fake side. Tom Hanks himself, the actor, famous actor, came out and said, well, they can still put me in movies long after I'm dead, because you can have a virtual Tom Hanks that looks and feels like me, cracks my jokes, whatever it is, and so I'll survive beyond my death in that form. Now, other creative industries are now facing similar concerns about their future with the arrival of these tools. So it's not just the audio, or rather the writing and the video I mentioned, but it's audio, images. We're seeing all of this being developed from scratch. We've got deep fakes, cheap fakes, all this kind of stuff coming out. It's a complete and utter mess. So the impact is already being felt, though, directly by copywriters. And these, for the record, are people who write marketing material and other content for businesses. So in some quarters of the copywriting business, it seems pretty good because it can be a useful tool to speed up work, potentially enhance creativity, meaning it may think of an approach that you hadn't thought of that you can incorporate into your writing, etc., etc. But other copywriters, rightfully so, especially those that are early in their careers, meaning I just got a degree in copywriting and I'm going to lose my job already, artificial intelligence is making it harder to find. And by virtue of that, a new type of job is emerging, and that's the one I mentioned before, and it's paying way less than standard copy editing. and that is simply fixing the AI's output of writing. It's not the best right now, but it continues to improve. And those jobs are obviously lower wage than if you're writing it, editing it, all that kind of stuff yourself. So this is where we are heading. This is, I think, going to be a very serious issue that we need to talk about. And I've had discussions, on basically my YouTube channel, SoundCloud, my radio show, on what does the future look like when we can't get McJobs or even the levels above McJobs because, quite frankly, the AI is doing it faster. And I don't mind the AI is taking away the menial tasks if it allows us to create, but when the AI is being charged with creating, I've got a serious problem with that, as we all should. So that is your news of the day. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it, but this isn't going away. I think it's only going to improve on itself, the artificial intelligence, which means that's not good for the copywriters and others in the world. And quite frankly, at some point, it's probably coming for all of us. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.